This is Ecotricity's ecoTEC Roundup show from Aotearoa's first and only climate-positive certified renewable electricity provider. We only source from wind, hydro and solar, and we are the leading supplier of electricity to EVs in Aotearoa. Switch today at ecotricity.co.nz. Welcome back to another roundup of news from the world of clean cars and green energy. Thanks for joining me. We start today with breaking news that came completely out of left field as we were preparing to record today's show. Ford and Tesla sitting in a tree. You know the rest. All jokes aside, Ford announced on Thursday afternoon during a Twitter Spaces conversation between Elon Musk and Ford CEO Jim Farley that as of next year, Ford EV customers will be given access to Tesla's Supercharger network across the US. What's more, Ford has confirmed that as of 2025, its vehicles will come with the North American charging standard, aka Tesla Inlet, built in. While the supercharger access isn't a surprise, Tesla is expected to make US superchargers compatible with CCS cars in short order. News that Ford is adopting NACS is a big deal. We asked for clarification and Ford said that it, quote, will start to transition its North American vehicles to NACS in 2025, then adding, we don't have any further details to share today, end quote. Midweek, as promised, BMW unveiled its first ever all-electric 5 Series EV, the BMW i5. Revealed alongside all new gasoline 5 Series variants, they share the same platform like the i4 and i7 do with their respective series sedans, the BMW i5 is being showcased as a performance-oriented 5 Series with a choice of 2 different variants. The entry-level i5 is the i5 eDrive 40, complete with a rear motor drivetrain, producing 246 kilowatts at the reels. It has a 5.7-second sprint time and a 295-mile, 474-kilometer range. This variant will start from just under $68,000, much more apparently in the UK for some reason, but there's also a more powerful version coming in the form of the i5 M60 xDrive, complete with 2 motors, sub 4-second sprint time, and a noticeably shorter range per charge. Being built on the same platform as the Hummer EV, we all knew that the Chevrolet Silverado EV would have some pretty massive battery packs offered when it goes on sale later this year. This week, Chevrolet updated its range predictions for the massive 246 kilowatt-hour battery pack that will be inside the Silverado EV WT. By a not insignificant amount. It's now 450 miles or 724 kilometres. That's far more than the range of the Hummer EV it shares a drivetrain and battery pack with. But remember that the Silverado EV 4WT is the work-friendly version of the Silverado EV and is built with a more utilitarian mindset than the unashamedly flashy trophy truck that is the Hummer EV. The 4WT will be the first variant to market, along with other models following on, including a shorter-range work truck and more recreational-aimed RST models. It's official. Last quarter, for the very first time in modern history, an electric car was the world's best-selling vehicle. That car, the Tesla Model Y, which, according to JTO Dynamics, achieved total Q1 sales around the world of 267,200 vehicles. That beats Toyota's Corolla, long-time top sales champion, by 10,800 units. With Model Y quickly becoming Tesla's most popular vehicle and production now flat out at all of Tesla's Model Y production lines, it doesn't take much to predict that Model Y could sit at the top of the sales charts for the rest of this year, especially with recent price cuts for Model Y, not to mention new, lower-priced models now entering onto the market. Given the growth in sales, in fact, it's highly possible that Tesla will make and sell 1 million Model Ys this year. Ford held its mammoth Capital Markets Day this week, at which it laid out some of its plans looking forward, and much of that, of course, included previewing its future EV models. First, Project T3, Ford's next-generation electric pickup truck, which CEO Jim Farley hinted would be, quote, the Millennium Falcon with a back porch attached, end quote. Unlike previous pickup models, Farley suggested Ford will streamline its manufacturing process to reduce costs, thus resulting in fewer trim levels to choose from. Also previewed during the event was an upcoming 3-row SUV, which Ford suggested would be built for road trips with up to 300 miles, 483 kilometres of real-world range when driven flat out on the freeway at maximum allowable speeds. Don't expect a typically large e-SUV though. Ford says something Explorer-sized would just be too power-hungry. There's lots more from the event we don't have time to cover here, but let us know in the comments below if you'd like a deep dive. A new study by consultancy firm KPMG has reiterated what we've been saying for a really long time. People want EVs, but aren't happy paying a premium to drive electric. In its latest Pulse Summer Survey, KPMG notes that nearly 1/2 of all US car buyers say they're interested in purchasing an electric car, with the majority of those stating that they expect to be driving an EV by 2025. If the survey is truly representative of a good swathe of the population, something we actually doubt, it's good news for EVs and EV fans. But what isn't good is the high level of concern among would-be EV owners about sticker shock. In the survey, households with a gross income above $100,000 per year were far more likely to purchase or show an interest in purchasing an EV than those below. Climate and geographic location also played a part, with the US Midwest being least likely to go electric anytime soon. It might have only been on sale outside of China for a short while, but NIO has just revealed the second generation of its ES6 compact SUV, and it's promising big things for the same. Revealed midweek, the new ES6 doesn't have many exterior styling differences over its predecessor, which suggests that this is more like a mid-cycle refresh than a true next-generation model. That said, the inside does get a substantial change, with front seats that can recline 160 degrees, complete with built-in leg rest. There's also an optional augmented reality system for passenger infotainment and entertainment, and NIO says there's a LiDAR-backed semi-autonomous driver assistance system, a choice of either a 75 or 100 kilowatt-hour battery pack, and a hint that there may be a longer-range solid-state battery pack offered this summer. Chinese deliveries have apparently already begun. Stock splits, where a company takes its existing shares and then divides them into multiple shares with a total value equivalent to the pre-split share price, are fairly common. In the EV world, we've seen Tesla execute multiple stock splits over time as a way to expand the number of shares in circulation without making a fresh offering, as well as lowering the entry point for those wanting to own Tesla shares. And given the audience for this channel, I'm pretty sure many of you have benefited from a Tesla stock split. But this week, Lordstown Motors did the opposite, executing a 1-to-15 reverse stock split, where it reissued 1 share for every 15 held. The reason? To try and bring up the value of Lordstown stock out of penny stock status and towards a value that investors might find more appealing. Other EV startups have tried the same move of late, but as with those others, it hasn't helped Lordstown 1 ounce. When an automaker brings a new model to market, it's fairly common for executives at that company to get one for a while to drive. And lower down, employees, those same vehicles are often available to lease as a company car. But for several years now, Volkswagen employees haven't been able to order any Volkswagen EV under the firm's company car program due to the ongoing parts shortage in the industry. While it's meant that Volkswagen staff haven't been able to order an EV as a company car, it's helped Volkswagen deliver more electric cars to its customers, which you should probably argue is a very good thing. This week, however, with the majority of Volkswagen's part crises over, it's lifted the temporary ban on executives ordering EVs, and they can once again order an ID3, ID4, ID5 or ID Buzz as their company car of choice. In the last few decades, oil companies first tried to deny their part in anthropogenic climate change, then downplay their part, and more recently tried to make themselves look caring by engaging in some good old-fashioned greenwashing. But this week, for Shell at least, the company's shareholders' true colours showed when 80% of them voted to reject a resolution brought by climate shareholder activists calling for Shell to align its climate strategy with the Paris Agreement, thus committing to achieving concrete emissions reductions by 2030. As is usually the case when something comes to vote at an annual general meeting, the company itself can advise shareholders on which way to vote, and in this case, Shell's management said that the proposal was, quote, unclear, generic, and would create confusion, end quote. Shell also stated that it already has a, quote, comprehensive energy transition strategy, end quote. Yeah, right. Before we go to the last two stories, I have a quick question for you. Are you in the market for a new electric car? Because if you are, and you are in Aotearoa, you should totally check out our very own buyer's guide at ecotricity.co.nz. It is packed with all the information you need to pick a car that's right for you, and includes plenty of details about incentives you can get, charging providers you can charge up with, and of course how to get clean energy at home. So follow the link below and start your journey today. As Tesla CEO, Elon Musk has helped the company grow from a scrappy startup into an established automaker, and regardless of your opinion on his personal views, it's hard to separate him from Tesla and vice versa. And despite some of Elon Musk's controversial statements on social media of late, a recent survey among Tesla shareholders showed that the majority of those questioned approve of what he's been doing at Tesla, even if some of those may not approve of his personal views away from the company. And it's with that backdrop that Elon Musk confirmed this week in an interview with the Wall Street Journal that he's already communicated with Tesla's board of directors over his choice of successor at the firm, in the event that he would be unable to carry out his duties for some reason. It's news that some will, I'm sure, be glad to hear. And finally, last week on this channel, we brought you news of a new set of speed records as achieved by a Rimac Nevera being driven on a closed track. The records, 23 in total, covered acceleration and braking times, quarter-mile times, and much more. But this week, just 1 week after we told you about the Nevera's new crown, we got news of a new champion over the 8 and quarter mile, the Aspark Owl. The Japanese hypercar took to a track in the north of England recently to record a 1.72-second sprint time, go on to an average 309.02 kilometers per hour over 1/8 of a mile, and 380.85 kilometers per hour on the quarter mile. Congratulations to everyone involved in this very speedy record setting. And on that note, we are done for the day. Before I go though, do make sure you've hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the latest in EV news from this channel. And of course, if you haven't switched yet to Aotearoa's first and only climate positive certified renewable electricity provider, you should do it. It's super easy to make the switch, and you'll be helping the nation wean itself off dirty energy and onto clean green power that will keep Aotearoa beautiful for generations to come. Next week, I will be out of the studio, so you're probably going to get a slightly unusual roundup show or an alternative video from me, but I'll be back the following week in the studio. In the meantime, don't forget to check out the latest videos from Gavin Kiwi EV Shoebridge on the channel. He's been testing that PSC of new EVs again. Potato storage capacity. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm Nikki Gordon Bloomfield. Ka kite! See you next time.